there. Hi there. Hey there. Welcome back to Crystal Clear Moments, where I'm the podcast, leader and facilitator and conversation starter, Crystal Blackwell. I am super excited about today. Today is going to be a special segment for Crystal Clear Moments, and we're going to talk about breast cancer because it's October. And this is the official breast cancer month, breast cancer awareness month. And I think even though we know that it's October and it's breast cancer awareness month, I still don't think we get to hear those stories to drive the importance of it. So I have a special guest for you. But before we dive in and we delve into our guest and what we're in our stories and hearing about her crystal clear moments and what she's uncovered in her journey of, breast cancer warrior is what I'm going to call her, warrior. I want to give you some background. Everybody knows I love facts and figures. That's my thing. That's my jam. First of all, I want to say the American Cancer Society really conducted the Breast Cancer Month in 1985. So we've been in the game for a while. This is not a new thing. So I say that with a little shade because I'm thinking we should be doing a better job. But that's just me, really feeling passionate about the fact that we still have to deal with breast cancer in this day and age. And it's happening to younger and younger women. So that's another reason why this podcast is super important, a special edition, first time we've ever really had this conversation. So I want to introduce my friend, so to give you some background, Glenda Dees. She's a friend. I've known her. I was thinking about this, Glenda, like 15 years or so.
Yes, I think a little more than that.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. We're family friends. Her family and my family are friends. We kind of looped up to this big family circle. And I think it's like a ride or die kind of a thing. Like we are family. We show up. We spend holidays together. We support each other. We do weddings. We love on each other. We are... when you have a friend that becomes a family. So it's not just her, it's her daughter, her granddaughter, her sister who is a friend of mine, and everybody that's kind of a part of your world is our family. And of course, my family loves you. But I know when I met you, I was really fascinated, Glenda, was how you dealt with breast cancer. Being completely transparent, I've never really been around someone who really walked through breast cancer, and I saw them. I'm going to give you a chance to share your crystal clear moments. And I saw you, as yourself, not after the fact when you're beautiful and gorgeous like you are today. Like I saw you in the middle of it. And it was hairy and sticky and icky and hurt. And I watched that, and I just was enamored with your courage and your strength. And you were still cute. You was still cute. You had cute look. Like who cuts their hair off and still looks cute? You was cute with your little curly hair. I mean, you embraced it with like a warrior, but like a queen. Like you were like, you're not gonna beat me up. You're not gonna win. Mm-hmm. So Glenda has a background. She has a medical background just by trade. So I know you've done work in the breast cancer space. It's her background. Check this out. You're in that space before you even got the disease,
right.
Which I think was amazing how God kind of puts you in a space and gives you tools and education, and then it's happened. So I want you to share with us, what was your crystal clear moment, Glenda, when you were first diagnosed? Because she's a 2-time warrior winner, survivor. Look at that. I made that up, huh? Uh-huh. 2-time warrior winner, survivor. I should hashtag that. Anyways, I love that. Tell us that story. Tell us your moment when that happened.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
And thank you for making this a special moment, because every day that we speak about awareness is special for all of us women. We are at risk just because we are women. And we need to be aware each and every day of the risk, how to lower the risk, and how to take care of ourselves. Absolutely. Well, to give you just a little bit about me, I was living in New York, loving my life, living life, loved every crack.
You're in Brooklyn or Harlem? Or where were you living?
Harlem.
Yes, Harlem. I remember they
I
telling
was
me
living
that.
in
yeah.
Harlem.
So you were
Yes.
living you're a Renaissance girl in
Hey,
Harlem.
I was living
Yeah.
the life, you
Yes.
know, and I was working for Mount Sinai School of Medicine, and also Sloan Kettering, doing some research for them as well. And you know, and I'm doing the research. I'm developing in breast cancer programs. I'm out there doing breast cancer education to everyone. And during my journey, the first time I had breast cancer was when I was living in New York in 2004. And I remember just as clear as it was yesterday, I said, I am so sick and tired of taking this chemo medicine. And it was New Year's Eve, and I flushed them. I flushed them down the toilet.
Before you were even finished
Before
with them?
yes.
So the prescription wasn't even completed
No,
and
right.
you flushed them.
I said, I'm
Wow.
sick of taking this junk.
Yeah.
So come February, I did self-breast examinations each month, the first day of each month, because that's my birthday day.
So you're doing your self-examinations each and every
Yes.
month. I believe that. I know you did.
February 1, I'm in the shower doing my breast self-exam, and I feel something feels like a little rock in my right breast. And I'm in denial. Like, I didn't feel that. Next month, come March, I feel it again. Still denial. April, I felt it again. And I said, well, I need to go to the doctor. So I called one of my colleagues because I was working with a lot of oncologists there in New York. And so I called my friend that I was on one of the community boards with, and I'd said, I need to have an exam, you know, and he said, oh, he says, what's going on? And I told him. He said, that's probably nothing, you know, we're going to go and I did a mammogram, and you know something is amiss when they say, you know what, Miss Dees, we're going to do an ultrasound. And then they did the ultrasound. You know what, Miss Dees, we're going to do a fine needle aspiration. My gosh. And I remember the lady, I could remember what she looks like. She was sitting next to me waiting to go to get a mammogram, and she looked at me and she says, you're having some trouble, aren't you? I said, a little bit, just a little bit. I said, but I'm going to just go through this and see what the end results are going to be. And she looked at me and she grabbed my hand and she said, you know you're going to be okay.
When she said that, what in your mind, what happened? Because that was before you had diagnosed.
That was before that.
That was before. So
yes.
how did you respond to that?
My whole insides were just shaking. And I said, thank you. She says, you are. She says, I know you are.
Because she knew.
She knew. And I knew. I knew then. And then when my friend comes out, he's the oncologist, comes out with a blank piece of paper. He says, come on in office, Glenda, we're going to sit and talk. By this time, he knows that I have breast cancer. He knows that he's called my boss, and the whole office descends at his office. And I come out of the office, and there they all sit. My support group. My warriors to help me through this. And that's what it takes. It takes a support group to help you, because when I was told I had breast cancer, I went deaf. I couldn't hear anything. I didn't hear nothing.
Right.
I didn't hear anything for a whole year. Someone had to go with me to the doctor. And it's so funny, is that when I'm out giving presentations or developing programs for people, for women, I always say, take someone with you, because you're not going to hear.
Okay, that's good advice. Yeah.
You're not going to hear.
Right.
And I went deaf.
Yeah.
You know, they say, practice what you preach.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But you did say you were in like denial.
I was in denial,
Yeah.
total denial. I said,
Yeah.
in research, I'm doing all of this for breast cancer, and I get breast cancer.
Right. So what do you think? Because with all this, this is 2004.
Uh-huh.
So again, there's information out there.
Oh, yes.
We're not in the Stone Age about this.
No,
we
we're not.
clearly know what's going on.
Absolutely.
So why do you think? Because I think what you're saying happens to a lot of us when we're in a space where in our hearts we know what the answer is.
Yes.
What makes us go into denial?
I went into denial, I believe, because I'm working in this field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going into denial because I know what can happen down the road and what bumps are in that road. I'm in denial as, do I have the strength? Do I have the strength? Is my faith being tested? All of that. All of that. A diagnosis of any type of terminal disease or any type of diagnosis that you know that you're going to have to fight for your life. I think you kind of sit in denial like, really? I couldn't believe it.
So Glenda, let's stay with 2004 diagnosis. So you're in denial, then you finally come around the corner that you got to do something.
Yes.
Then what happens next?
What happens next
in your journey?
In my journey is that all of my colleagues came to, they circled me. We had a circle, and I'm in the middle of this circle.
I remember you telling me the story.
And so Rita, who it was my friend, and she says, "You owe New York City nothing. Nothing." And she says, "You know what it takes to beat this disease." She
That
said,
encouragement.
Yes. She says, "This circle," she says, "we're here." Even though, she said, "You go home. You go home to your family because they will help you fight this disease. And we're going to be helping you as well from New York." She says, "But you go home."
So you leave Harlem, New York, and I've heard your stories there. You loved living there. You flourished.
Oh,
You're
yes.
at your glory. That was your glory years. You were doing your thing,
Yes,
right?
I was.
You was doing your thing
Yep.
there. So
Yes, I
now
was.
you have to move back
to California.
to California because now you have to, focus on
Fighting.
fighting.
And
What
surviving.
does fighting look like? Glenda, what does fighting look like?
Fighting looks like many things fighting is different for everyone.
How did it show up for you?
My fight showed up for me in my circle, my support. That was the fight. The other fight was to get this out of my body as soon as possible. And before I even went to New York, I was involved working at radiation oncology, and I knew the radiation oncologist.
So you knew the process.
I know the process, and I called him. I said, "Tad, I have cancer." He says, "Come home, because we're going to take care of you." And I had to find a doctor. I found a good team. That is the other fight that you have to. That is the other thing that you have to find. You have to find a really good team of doctors that you believe in, that you know that's going to help you through this journey. And I was blessed to have a good team of doctors. You have to, the fight, there were days when I was like so exhausted because of the radiation. I suffered from chronic fatigue. When I came home to Arizona, I was fighting the chronic fatigue from the radiation, and I couldn't get out of bed.
So the treatment choice was radiation.
Was
And
radiation.
if you're comfortable, what type of cancer were you diagnosed
I had
with?
in situ,
Okay.
and that means that the tumor had not moved outside of my duct. Yes,
It was stuck there,
it
almost
was.
like.
It was there.
Okay.
And it was a 1.5 centimeter.
Nice size.
It was a nice, because I could feel it.
Yeah, if you can feel it in the
Yes,
flesh, if you can feel it's usually,
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was a nice size
Nice
because I
size.
didn't even have to palpitate to feel it.
oh, wow.
I could just feel it.
Just a brush.
And and it didn't move. You know, if it moves around, you're in pretty good shape. But if it's there, stuck with all of the roots that it is sucking the energy out of you, yeah, it's so for my fight, I had to fight to get up every day, Monday through Friday, to go get burnt, get radiation from my shoulder blade all the way under my breast down, and that was a fight every day because you have no appetite, you have to eat, and you have to eat. I had to change my diet. And I still eat differently today.
So give us, like, what does that look like?
For me, I ate a lot of berries, a lot of antioxidants. I ate a lot of
Like the raspberries, the blueberries.
I love raspberries, blueberries,
strawberries.
I had blueberries in the freezer, and every morning I would get a handful and eat them, or eat during the day. I would.
What
eat
foods did you get rid of?
fried.
The good stuff. No, right.
All the good stuff.
Right, I know.
French fries.
I know the good stuff. Right, the good fried food.
Good fried food. I cut back.
And you're a good cook too, so you had to learn how to cook differently. I
have to learn how to cook differently.
Yeah.
I mean, now I call myself a lazy cook because I bake everything.
Yeah.
You just put it in the oven.
Yeah.
Like put the timer on.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch it or anything like
There's
that.
no frying in that.
There's no frying in that. But I've learned to make it taste very, very good. And that's part of the fight.
Yeah.
Again, it's a lifestyle change.
And that's difficult for most
Lifestyle
of us.
change is so difficult. People just change your lifestyle. Like, really? I give up the fries. I can't go. I don't eat. I gave up all the fast food.
Chicken wings too.
I bake them.
I know, but not like a chicken wing fried in like a cast iron skillet. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, I know it. I gave up the fried chicken. But every once in a while, I don't deny myself.
Yeah, right.
I don't deny. I had to learn not to deny myself. Right. Every once in a while, I need a wing. I'll have to go to Popeyes and get me one, and I will get one wing. And my cousin said, "Who in the world eats one wing?" Me.
You got to do it. So definitely part of the fight is diet, like you said.
It's diet.
It's you changing your diet in the middle of. So when you're going through radiation and radiation is different for different people based on their diagnosis, right? You were saying like your skin was burned. I can remember you talking to me about that. Now, just so that people who don't understand, I don't want to be super graphic, but the point of this podcast is to educate people and lovingly, softly fear us into taking it seriously, more seriouser. Is that a word? But I'm just made up one. Maybe I did, but you guys get it. But it's a level of degrees in that burning.
The more melanin that you have in your skin during radiation, you're more likely to burn. And I had second-degree burns. My skin on the right side, that's where my breast cancer was. My was burned from my collarbone all the way. I mean, just my right side, all under the breast, under my arm, because that's where they radiated me. And, my skin is dark. I'm a dark-skinned girl. So my chest was pink. I had second-degree burns. I went down to the burn center thinking that, God, they're going to heal me up, and I won't have to do radiation. That wasn't the case. They were treating my burns, and I was still going every day to radiation.
How many weeks did you go every day?
I
know it's 2004.
I want to say, did I go either? I had 30, I think at 13, or I think it's 35 radiation treatments, and then I think I had 3 boosts. I had a lot. I don't know if I can't remember. I had a lot, and I remember I had 3 boosts. And the boost was where they radiated exactly the spot where the cancer was. Now, the first time I had cancer, they were not taking the women's breasts. Now, women in Europe have been getting lumpectomies way before American women. They were just taking off our breast. So I had the contour, meaning if you look at your palm of if you stick your hand out, and then just this part of your hand, the bottom part, that's your contour. And I had that contour removed because they called that a lumpectomy.
Okay.
So that is what I had the first time. They removed that contour. So I had to get a little cutlet, because I'm lopsided. And even today, everything on my right side, I have to have a pin so that my clothes will stay up.
Right.
Because I didn't realize, Crystal, well, yeah, I did, that every part of your body is for balance.
Yes, I do get that.
Every part of your body is for balance. And the body is a spectacular machine. And so I didn't have balance on that side. So I'm a little lopsided. I kind of lean to the right.
Okay. That could be a little...
Yeah, you can work it.
Yeah.
You can kind of work that.
You can work that.
Yes, and I learned to work that,
I love it.
You learn to compensate the things that you don't have, And of course, us being women, and we are proud of our hair. We're proud of our breast, because that's what makes us who we are.
Yes, well, that's our gender typically identifier.
That's our
typically.
identifier.
Yes,
our hair and our breasts.
Yeah.
And so since I had part of my breast removed, it kind of messed with my mind. It's like, who's going to be attracted to me? And I'm up. I got one up and one down.
Yeah.
And
you really, and if you're okay, let's really dive into the self-esteem piece of it. Because I think, and when I read these statistics, I'm going to give you guys some. I think this is happening to a lot of women and sisters, family members, cousins, friends. And I think that this data here shows, even for just like this year alone, new cases of breast cancer, 298, I'm rounding up thousands, going to show this year. And it's increasing. So, and it says here, 1 in 8 women in America. So in a room of 8 people, one of them, and maybe it could be you, is going to be diagnosed with breast cancer. So we need to know, how that impacts your self-esteem, because when you hurt, we all hurt.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, support system, we'll also talk about how we can better support. But talk to me about your crystal clear moment or moments of how this impact how you viewed yourself.
At first, I viewed myself as like, they've taken part of my womanhood. I didn't want to look in the mirror, and I only had the lumpectomy then.
Yeah, right.
I'm not talking about when I had breast cancer in 2016.
We're going to talk about that. That's coming up.
And then we're going to talk about that self-esteem again, 2016.
Right. Okay.
But, I'm just a little lopsided. I'm self-conscious about what I wear.
Right.
And then you think about, well, when I'm healed up, who's going to want to be, am I going to be attractive to men?
Right.
Who's going to want somebody with part of a breast gone,
That's real.
It's real.
That's super real.
And who's going to want to see me, because I still wear the burn scars. Who wants to see that?
Yeah.
And it's like, I covered up, And even today, I still like, I'll be buttoned all the way up to my. To my
Yeah, I'm surprised you got that deep V going on, girl. I was checking you out.
Well, yes.
Yes, I see you.
Well, I have self-esteem now and a little bit to give away.
I know, that's right. I love it. And we're going to hear how you got there because it's super cute. Yes. So talk to me about how did your faith play a role in the 2014 diagnosis and survivor?
It was my faith got me.
I'm sorry, 2004, the first one.
My
yes.
faith, if it wasn't for my faith, there would be no Glenda today to talk to you. But I tell you one thing, God got my attention.
Hello.
He got my attention.
Hello.
You hear me?
So that was a crystal clear moment.
That was my crystal clear moment.
What, if you're comfortable, what was the attention? Like what, and again, this could be something that's between you and God. I respect that. But if you feel okay sharing, like what was that?
I'm a walker. I'm a
yes,
walker.
we've walked together.
Yes.
We've walked together.
Yes,
So yes,
I'm a
you
walker.
are. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
And I was out walking. And I'm walking down by the beach. I'm in California at the beach and whoop, whoop, whoop. And I'm all in my feelings this particular morning. God, I can just see it. I'm all in my feelings this particular morning. Couldn't figure out, why this is happening and why, Lord, I was in a good place and I was in this and I was in that. And so I sat down on the bench and I looked across the water and I was just sitting there, not thinking about anything. And then all of a sudden, I said, "Who do you think you are, Glenda Lou? You got cancer for a reason. And that reason was to let people know, let other women know that you can survive this."
Wow. So he used you for others, as oftentimes God does. So,
Yes.
yeah. So when you first got that message, for real, how did you feel? Were you like, why me? Or
I'm like,
"God,
and
what's
then I
up?"
was like,
yeah.
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 And as they say, as God would have it,
As God would have it.
as God would have it. Oh, yes. My best friend has been best friend for 40 years. She said, "Glenn, you're going to come and talk about your experience at the missionary group." I said, "No, I'm not." She said, "Oh, yes, you are." And that's where I got my start, at St. Paul Baptist Church, Oxnard, California.
I heard that in front of the saints of God.
Yes, that. And I went and I spoke to her missionary group.
Yeah.
And someone was there from Coleman. They had invited.
Susan B. Coleman, which is a nonprofit that's supporting breast cancer awareness, right?
And of course, they were targeting their population to educate were African American women.
Right.
And so I told my story. And when I told my story, her name was Jen, I never forget her. She said, "Would you like to be a volunteer?"
Wow. Yeah.
And I immediately said yes.
So there's your pain for purpose.
Yes, and that volunteering
Yes.
helped me through my grief because I was grieving.
Yeah.
You grieve. You hear me?
Yes.
It
That's
helped
a
me.
good point, Glenda, to make. Yeah.
You're grieving.
Right.
You're grieving for yourself.
Okay.
Yes, you are definitely grieving. It helped me with my grief. It also gave me another view of breast cancer. It gave me a personal view of how this affects you as a woman and how it affects other women as a woman. Until I walked in those shoes, I'm in the lab, I'm sitting at my desk developing programs. You really don't know what you're developing until you've walked in those shoes and you know how tight they are.
I know. I talk a lot about empathy and about how we need to, I believe the 21st century superpower for all of us should be empathy.
Absolutely.
And I think, I may not understand it, but like you said, not until you walked in those shoes, but just having been able to express empathy is probably the key in terms of supporting someone.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And from my experience, I started to look at my programming a whole lot different. I knew that support was important, but you need that right kind of support. You need that ride to die support.
Yeah.
You need someone that's going to come in and help you bathe. Because some days I couldn't even bathe. Some days I couldn't even get up. You need someone that's a get up, Glenn, we have to go, and you have to go get your treatment. And trust me, those were days I was so prickly. I would come in, they says, "Where's your hat?" I said, "I'm not putting on a hat today."
Right.
Yeah.
So you weren't the nicest because you were hurting. You were struggling. You're in pain. Right.
In pain,
right.
and then I have to go get burned up again.
Right. Yeah.
I look like a chicharron. Come on.
Yeah. So if you could give us people who are, in the space of supporting, if you could give us one piece of solid advice, how should we show up?
Show up with an openness to fight. Because this is a fight. This is not an easy journey.
You need some women or men or kids with some boxing gloves.
With some boxing
gloves.
gloves.
This is for no punks.
This
is for people that's ready to show up.
That
And you have to know who they are in your tribe.
You do.
Because everybody's not meant for that. And that's okay.
And that's fine. And
That's
those
fine.
who aren't meant for it,
Pray for me.
Pray.
But you need
Absolutely.
your fighters.
yes,
okay?
you need your fighters.
Yes.
And my fighter was Evelyn Louise Oglesby.
So you said the whole name.
Her whole name.
I love it.
Her whole name.
Whole name.
Because she's got strength of a gorilla.
I love it.
And she's got faith. I think she knows that she's got the main line to the Lord. Do you hear me?
Right. I love
Yes.
it. I'm gonna have to get her on my little tribe list. 'Cause
Yes. Oh, baby.
'cause I got stuff to ask God. I want somebody to be able to get to Him quick.
Like
I
said,
love it. Yeah.
And then, everybody in the family, because she's my extended family.
Yeah.
Their family adopted me when I
Yes.
first moved to California, but that's a whole different show.
Right.
But at any rate, they everybody calls her Annie. Don't have Annie start praying. Oh, my God. I said, well, Evelyn's praying. Oh, don't have Annie pray.
Yes, because she's prayer
It's-
warrior. Yeah.
Yes, she is. She is.
Amen.
And she, she even went with every year for 11 years, she went with me to have my yearly mammogram.
Good. So 2004 happened, and I'm sure once you got through your radiation, you were strengthened by your tribe.
Yes.
You grieved.
Yes.
You healed.
Yes.
You survived.
Yes.
You was cute again.
Yes.
You were back flourishing.
Yes.
And then what happened in 2014?
2016.
2016.
2016. Now I moved back to Arizona 2013. So I'm in Arizona now. So 2016, I tell my girls, like, look, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'm going to California to get that because where all my doctors are. And I didn't give them
You're
up.
still giving, you're still doing your checkups. You're
Yes.
still,
Yep.
living a healthy lifestyle. You're eating your berries. You're walking.
all that.
Yeah, right.
Because you said I can walk a country mile.
Right. I think I did see you one time. I swear to God. I remember seeing you walking. Remember that? I know this is sidebar, but this is so funny. You was literally about 8 miles from your house and on some random road. Like, where is she going? I was like, so yes, you can walk.
I can walk.
Yes, you can. It's like, do I need to pick you up? You're like, I'm good. I'm like, okay. Like, it took you like 2 hours to get home.
Yes.
Like, yes.
Yes.
I remember that. So
Yes.
anyways,
Anyhow.
definitely you added physical fitness,
Yes.
exercising,
Yes.
healthy diet, healthy
Yes.
lifestyle was
Yes.
part of your prescription to get healthy.
Yes.
And build
Yes.
yourself back up.
Right.
Okay.
And walking, you can just
Yeah.
clear your brain.
Right.
It's good. So 2016, I leave home. I tell my girls, I see you in 2 weeks. I said, I'm going to go to the doctor. And I said,
Regular appointment.
Yes, regular appointment, regular checkup, my yearly mammogram.
Right.
And, I said, I'm going to go to every thrift store in California. So my daughter says, okay, Mom, see you in 2 weeks. Well, I go get my mammogram, and you don't ever want the doctor to come in with, and the first thing he asks me, because Evelyn went with me for 11 years, and this time she says, Glenn, do you want me to go? I said, oh, no, I don't need you to go with me. I said, I want you to get ready. I said, because we're going to Pasadena, and I said, and we're going to do some, black belt thrift shopping. I said, so you get ready.
And Pasadena got some nice thrift shops.
Yes,
I know
yes,
that
they do.
personally. Yes.
Yeah. So when I did my mammogram, and the doctor walks in and he says, where's your sister at? I knew. I knew. I said, she's at home. We're going to. I know, a denial. We're going to the thrift store. What does she need to be here for? He said, we see you have an unfavorable result. That's what he told me. And he said, and the tumor is in the exact same spot it was the very first time.
Wow. So from that moment on, what did you do? Just simply,
I cried.
Yeah.
I
so
cried.
You cried because.
And I asked God, I don't know if I can go through this again.
Okay.
I didn't know. I said, God, I don't have the strength to fight this again. Again? I was
What did you
mad.
tap into? Okay. You said,
was
yeah.
mad.
And you were mad at fill in the blank.
I was mad at cancer. I was mad at cancer.
You know what? A lot of us are mad at cancer. A lot of us have lost so many people. And I think we have a right
Yes.
to be mad at cancer.
I was pissed off
Yeah.
at cancer. I was hot.
Yeah.
And I said, I've been burnt up.
Right, yeah.
I suffered from chronic fatigue for a year. My sister sitting on the side of the bed, I couldn't even get out, and she was like, she said, Glenda, can you get up? I said, no, I can't get up. I mean, the cure, as they say, is worse than the actual disease, because that treatment is tough.
It feels to me still barbaric.
It is barbaric.
Like when I hear of people what they go
is.
through, I have a friend now. I think I linked you up with her because I know that, I've done that with you before. People may not even reach out, but because I know you're a good support and they may need that. Well, anyways, she's going through it and it's barbaric.
It's barbaric.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, doctors practice medicine.
Practice. Right. They're not God.
They practice medicine.
Yes. People don't. I'm glad you said that. And we can all pause and think about that. It's a practice.
It's a practice.
Yes.
They're practicing on us. And
So you get this diagnosis, and is it different than
it's different.
2004's
Oh, absolutely,
diagnosis?
it's different.
Okay.
You know why it's different? Well, again, I had a great team of doctors.
Right.
I have this was a new team, but it was a good team. So when I went to the doctor, Evelyn was with me, and they said, Glenda, because you had a lumpectomy and the tumor is in the same identical spot, we're going to have to remove your breast. We cannot go in and do another lumpectomy. Well, remember, my contour is already gone.
Right. So it's not.
So it's nothing. So they're going to have to remove my right breast. So at this
When you
time,
heard that, what did you feel? Like when you first.
when I heard that, I looked at him and I said, you know what? Lump it off, throw it in the trash. And I said, when you do that, get the other one, because I'm not coming back in 2 years with something in the other one, in my left
So
breast.
you elected to have both.
I had both of them removed.
And they called that was it double
Mastectomy.
Right.
I had a
So
double mastectomy.
right, yeah.
Yes. The second time, it was worse than the first because the radiation on my right side had just petrified my muscle. So they had to go in and take muscles from my back and just flap it over
Like stretch it?
Stretch, yeah. So that I could put the oh my God, I can't even think of the insertion, the stretcher. I have to think of the word now. I
Yeah.
can't even, it escapes me. And
That's fine. That's fine.
so that I could, because I was fighting. I said, when you take them off and throw them in the trash, just give me a smile. I can wear blouses.
Right.
I don't have to buy sweaters.
Right,
Because my chest was heavy.
Right.
And so
you were full breast woman.
oh, I
at
was
first.
full.
Right.
Yes,
right.
yes. I
So
was.
so basically you was like, I can wear a t-shirt.
I could wear a T-shirt.
I can wear a t-shirt. I know. Like everybody wants to wear like a little itty bitty t-shirt. Yes, give me an A cup. I don't care.
I said, okay, if I have to have boobs, I want knobs.
Yeah.
I said, I want some knobs. They said, Glenda, we can't give you knobs.
Yeah.
You have to be, we have to look at your body, fit your body like.
Okay. You got to proportion it.
You have to proportion it. Yeah, proportion. Thank you. But I wanted knobs.
I hear that, right?
I want knobs.
Bras.
I want a bra. I want to wear a shirt
Right.
with buttons.
I know what you mean.
I don't want to wear a
hear ya.
sweater all the time.
Anyone that's full in the front.
Yeah.
You want to just go like braless.
Yes, I do.
With no major movement. Right?
I was like
Hanging situation.
Right. And so Evie's over there like, you can't be walking around with no breasts. And I'm like, yes, I can. I said, this is my decision.
Yeah.
And then the doctor was like, he listened to us banter, and I lost. And
You lost that because
I
you got some girls now.
I got some falsies.
Right. And they're cute.
Extenders. That's what they had to put in my.
Okay, yeah.
So that they could pump it up, extend my skin. Expanders. That's what they're. I'm sorry.
Right. To expand the skin.
To expand my skin.
To get them prepped for
the
your breast implant, right?
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
And that in itself. Well, let me back up just for a moment.
Okay, please.
The surgery. I was in surgery for 8 hours.
Right.
8 straight hours. I had to have the.
That's like a full day's work.
Yes, and I had I had the what do you call them? Not the cosmetologist. The
oncologist.
I had the oncologist there. I had the general surgeon there, and I had the guys who put in my boobs there.
Plastic surgeons.
Plastic surgeon. Thank you for that. And so they did. The general surgeon and the oncologist, they were there. So they did the pulling of my muscle to the front. And I can't remember the technical name for that. And so that then the plastic surgeons comes in, and then they put in the expanders in my chest. And the expanders, you would think that they would be round. Girl, they're square. Can you believe it?
A man must have invented that.
Yeah, they did. They did because it was painful.
Ouch. Like those corners?
I mean,
You know what I mean?
rounded. They were rounded, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what is
It doesn't.
this?
Yeah.
But you know what? Those plastic surgeons, those Krieger brothers, when I tell you they're good, they said they look they were like proud, and I'm still,
Yeah. Right.
And they look good.
Yeah.
Even without the implants.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding? I'm bald. My nipples were gone. They had to take those.
Yeah. Yeah. And all of that. So with this particular diagnosis, you elected surgery for the diagnosis. Right.
I had no other choice.
You had no other choice. So that was like, this is your choice. First one was radiation, burning of the skin, all that came with that. Now this one's like surgery. So we had double mastectomy, and that came with its own whole set of issues and whole set 8-hour surgeries. You have a team of doctors. You got to be stretched, and muscles got to be pulled, and your breast is reconstructed. And
I had reconstructive surgery, and I left that hospital with 7 drains on my body. 7. Wow. Jackson somebody. You've seen the little pump with the 7 on my body.
So the healing process was pretty brutal.
It was very brutal.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest pain you ever felt, where would you place it?
10 times 10 to the 23rd power some days. And it's 1,000. And they
So sorry.
prescribe you all these pain meds, and you hear about them, and I said, look, I said, I got enough to deal with. I don't need to be a junkie scratching and itching and trying to find some money to buy a pill. I said, I don't need that.
I'm not trying to be a pill popper,
not trying to do that.
But can we see how that can happen?
Yes, and they wanted me to stay ahead of the pain.
So it's almost like they wanted to be the pill popper.
Oh, yes.
You could have easily said, what did you do?
And when I did feel that pain, I said, could you give me the pill, please?
Yeah, I understand.
Every time I swallowed, I prayed.
Yes.
I said, oh, Lord, please
Don't make me addicted.
Don't make me addicted. Because I'm not going to make a good hustler.
Right. I can't be going around stealing pills and taking people's money.
People like, oh, here comes the
hide your purse. Right. You can't be doing that. Hawking your jewelry.
Hawking jewelry.
And I know we're laughing at it, and I'm not saying that addiction is funny.
No, it's not.
But
it is
the reality of it is, it's a real thing.
People and women get addicted to the oxycodone and the OxyContin,
absolutely,
and all that other, those Tylenol that was kicked up, and they're in pain.
Yeah.
And pain, and you cannot heal. That's the other issue. If you're in chronic pain, you don't heal. And that was
you got to get over that hump.
You have to get over that hump. You have to be able to heal. And that is all in that processing. That is all in that fight. That is when my tribe come together, when I was always in pain, and I remember them circling my bed. I remember they pulled the bed from the wall so they could circle me. And they did that. My prayer warriors prayed for me every day.
So, but we know prayer. We know I believe healing. God heals. I have story. God heals, and praying helps, supports, adds to it. So, in this particular, the second cancer that you beat, that you won, that you're warrior survivor. How did your faith show up here? Like, how did God speak to you in this one? Because the first time he was like, okay, this is for others. Was it the same story or was it different?
This one was just for me and my family.
Ooh, that had to feel very personal.
It was very personal because now I have a grandbaby.
Yes.
That I want to see grow up, that I want to see thrive. She's on the spectrum. So, I'm helping her. My daughter's blind. She has retinitis pigmentosa. So it was a different kind of fight.
Were you motivated to fight stronger the second time, or were you not?
I think I was because of Addison.
Okay, your granddaughter.
Because of my grandbaby, yes.
Right.
Because beautiful. I had begged God for her for so many years, and then when she came up, I thought I was being punked.
Right. I know, like, your trick. Nope, this is your grandbaby, yeah. So what would you say that you learned about yourself in this particular process? What did you learn about yourself?
I'm stronger than strong ever was. My faith is strong. I'm strong as a person. I'm strong as a human being. I have more empathy, if you would say. I know I always had empathy, but having empathy for others is a tremendous thing to have. All across the board, not only for breast cancer, but just for what people are doing and what people are going through, and how you can be part of that solution. They say if you're not part of the problem, you're part of the solution, or if you're not, whatever that saying is. But that's what I found out about myself. I find myself being more kind.
That's a crystal clear moment.
Yes, just being kind.
Just the awareness that the act of kindness
can go so far.
Yes.
Because 2004, when I was sitting next to this woman who was getting ready to go and have her mammogram, that was an act of kindness, and I didn't realize it until one day I was just sitting thinking about my first time around, and she came to mind.
Came back full
act of
circle. Full
kindness.
circle. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what God shows you. He, He shows you where you've been, and the lessons that you learned, and how you can bring those lessons forward. Kindness. I'm more kind. If there's a such thing as more kind.
Yeah. We're gonna make
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we're
That's
gonna
a
make that.
thing
Yeah,
for
we're
us.
gonna more kind.
Yes, I think that's okay to say more
Yeah.
kind.
And it's my tolerance level. Because at one point in my life, I had no tolerance for nothing. My mom was like, you don't have no patience. She was Glenda, you have no tolerance. She says, I just don't understand it. I'm more tolerant. And I don't even like to say the word tolerant because it means like you just, being tolerant just because you're here.
No, that's power.
Yeah.
Because you still have boundaries.
Yeah,
you can be tolerant
You
and
have
still
to be
have
tolerant.
boundaries.
I'm.
Doesn't
I
mean you're
look
being
at
walked
people,
over. Yeah.
and when someone is like going crazy, say like at the grocery store in line, at one point in my life, a long time ago, I'm like, but what is she going through?
Yes.
What is he going through?
That's that empathy.
They're at a different place.
Yeah,
They're at
really
a place.
good.
They're at a place where we have no
We
idea.
don't know what people are going through.
We don't know what they're
They
going
could have got a
through.
diagnosis about cancer that
Exactly.
day.
Exactly.
And that's how it's showing up for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because everyone who gets a diagnosis of something unfavorable, they present it in different ways. And instead of me going out crying, instead of yelling, I cried, and my stomach got upset, and I wanted to lie down. I got depressed. Oh, I was depressed. Trust me, I was. And
I'm sure that's part of that whole.
it was part of the whole.
thing.
That second time
Yeah.
around, I was so depressed. I was just depressed.
Right.
And I remember telling Evie, I said, I'm in so much pain.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do this. She said, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. I love your story, how, the first time around, you took your pain and made it purpose. And you're still doing that because, look, you're here.
Yes.
Look, you're here, 2024.
Yeah.
You're here doing it for something that, was a lesson you learned, 20 years ago, right? So I'm sure God's very pleased at you that you're honoring what he asked you to do. And the second time around, he showed you and taught you about kindness and about empathy and how, again, that pain became purpose. So if you could give a woman one word who's going through it right now, what word would that be? Or sentence?
I would say, be faithful. Be hopeful.
Yeah.
Be strong. You have to be all of that when those days when you think and ask Jesus to take you right now. And I've been there.
Yeah.
And you have to be. You think about the things that you were doing before you were diagnosed. And you think about, well, I want to still do those things.
That's good.
And I want to still do more.
That's good. Yeah.
Because I looked at first, the second time I looked at it as like a sentence, some type of punishment. No.
Right.
It's like I went through all of that and I've got the opportunity to become a speaker.
Look at that. Again, that pain.
That
pain
pain,
to purpose.
That pain, that
Yeah.
purpose.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
it may sound cliche, but it's a learning.
It is. It
And
is.
you learn. You learn
I don't
if you
think it's
if
cliche
you
at
just
all.
if you're just
Yeah.
quiet enough to think
Right.
about where you are at certain moments in your life, because you have to stop and just be quiet
Right,
and listen to your body.
Right.
That's another big thing.
Yeah.
When your body, because your body is designed to work in a certain way. And it's just like a car. If something comes amiss, if it's got a clink to it, you got that pain, don't ignore it.
That's really good advice, because I think that we do ignore it. But the flip side of it is that, and this is the last statistic before we wrap up that I wanted to share, because I wanted to share on a good note. Just like you survived 2 times. You're a survivor, you're a warrior, but survival rates, the overall 5-year relative survival rate for breast cancer in the U.S. is approximately 90%. If you get early detection, if you go, 90% of us survive. So
Yes.
even though we're sharing this, and you're an example of surviving it not once but twice, is that this isn't like a death sentence. This is an awareness. So I'm prayerful that this podcast is just an awareness. Someone's gonna wanna do that self-exam or go to that doctor and reach out to that friend to go and do this and take themselves seriously at 18, 30, 40, 50
Yes.
on up.
Yes.
Age is just a number in this
That's it.
space. So
We are at risk
definitely.
because we're women.
Right, because
Yes.
we're women, yeah. So thank you so much, Glenda. I love you. Thank you
love you
so
too.
much
I
for
love you.
sharing your story. I learned something else more about you with this. I mean, I've heard it before, and I know this is going to bless others. And
Yes.
and those podcasters, my Crystal Clear Moment podcasters, again, thank you for being dedicated. Rate this podcast. Put a comment.
Please.
And also on this podcast, I will have a link of information about breast cancer and breast cancer awareness. So please click on the link, get information, and share. And again, thank you for supporting, and
welcome.
thank you for being here. Love you.
And my pleasure.
You bet. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.